Nice in everybody's videos. Everybody talked about how they're really interested in getting started on starting their own business or taking their business to the next level. Well, we're going to talk about just that right now. And because we're at Medgar Evers College, number one, we're very happy because we have a large Hispanic Latinx presence, and also we have a huge African American, Caribbean, and African presence on our campus as well. And so, because of that, we're going to talk a lot about Black entrepreneurship in this talk today. Make sure you stay till the end because we're going to give details on the assignment that's due this week. All right, so a lot of you all are figuring out what is my best process for starting my business or taking my business to the next level. And so we don't want you just fishing around aimlessly. Instead, we're going to share with you what we know about helping you to form what is your best process. So no matter what you're doing, when you're doing it, whatever you're doing it, we want to help you out with that. All right, so in the United States, Black people are among the highest in terms of having entrepreneurial interest and activity. So they new venture initiation rates are greater than others. Black women are really handling business. And so also Black youth. And so Black people are really in the process of setting up their businesses. However, when we look at the data, what we find out is that such a small percentage of them in the United States own business. That number should be 12% or greater in order to be on par with other groups. So they only own 2.6 million businesses, which should be closer to 8 million, and only 130,000 of them have one employee, and they don't make great revenues. So recently in Brooklyn, New York City, 300,000 businesses there, only 63,000 were registered by Blacks, and only 2,000 of them had at least one employee. So the overwhelming majority of Blacks in the United States and New York City are single-person firms. Also, the Commissioner Doris of the New York City Small Business Services just recently shared with us, he along with Mayor de Blasio, just shared that in spite of Blacks representing close to 20%, a little bit more than 20% of the population of all New York City, they own only 2% of the businesses in New York City. So why is all of that? Well, what we know is that Blacks are more highly engaged what we call nascent entrepreneurship activity. That means nascent entrepreneurs are in the process of setting up their businesses, normally a 2 to 3 year period. And there are many reasons why that are well established, but we're going to work on some of these this semester. Something else that we notice is that a large portion of MEC students, not all, but a large portion of them operate their businesses in what we call the informal economy. The informal economy is also referred to as the unregistered economy, and that's the economy where business transactions, they're not recorded, not taxed, not licensed, nor regulated, and that by operating in that hidden economy, therefore, we see those suppressed numbers as such as 4 and 2%. But if they were operating in a formal economy, we'd see much greater numbers. Now, businesses that operate in the informal economy, they typically stay small, they typically run by one person, they don't attract investment or debt funding, and usually they're born solely out of economic necessity, which means income subsidizing purposes, as opposed to being born in response to someone recognizing some huge market opportunity. So there are downsides to operating in the informal economy. Number one, it keeps a business really small. Operating in the informal economy is really problematic if you ever want to grow or scale your business. Also, other entities that really want to support your business, they can't find you because you're hidden. Also, if you're operating in the formal economy, you can't get debt. You can't get formal debt financing from corporations, and you also can't get investment. Think about it. If I'm operating my business in the informal economy, my business is not legally registered as a separate legal entity. My business is not a noun. My business is an action. It's a verb. My business is what I do. I can't walk up to an investor and be like, hey, I want you to purchase 40% of what I do. No, I have to first formalize my business as a legal entity in order for it to be attractive to an investment and also in order to get debt financing. So these are some of the other downsides. I'm going to provide these slides to you so you'll be able to go through them a little bit slower, and I hope you do just that. Now, we reach out to campus entrepreneurs. That's our mission. So campus entrepreneurs are people like you, students. They're also alumni, future students, people from the community, your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, and so forth. Also, people who work at Medgar Evers College, if they want that. Now, what we find is that typically businesses by campus entrepreneurs are typically these things right here. And so we're not hating, but this is where we are, and we want to help them change that. They want to change that. And so there are ways that we can do just that. And these 4 strategies right here are helping us to do just that. And so we're going to talk about some of that in a minute. One thing that we've already done is we built the Campus Entrepreneurs web portal. It's in the early stage right now. And it's going to house 3 people: campus entrepreneurs, people like you who are selling product and you want to showcase and you want to sell it on that venue. Also, skill set sellers. Many of you have certain skills such as knowing how to set up accounting statements, or knowing how to code, set up a website, knowing how to do product chemistry, formulation, testing, and so forth. So you have a skill that these people want, and they don't know that you have it. And so on this particular site, y'all can showcase, and then y'all can search and find each other. Also, many people on the campus, they actually want to support businesses by campus entrepreneurs, but they don't know where to find them. They don't even know that y'all exist. So they running all the way to Queens and stuff to buy stuff that y'all got right there and could, provide to them right away. So we're going to bring all of these together in a formalized, structured way. And anybody who registers on that thing, they're going to get this assistance right here. So those are things that we're working on. We're actually providing this assistance right now to campus entrepreneurs from the community, students, and so forth. They actually set up appointments with us and sit and meet with us. These are some of the targeted outcomes, and we're actually achieving many of these targeted outcomes already. And so we got campus entrepreneurs handling business. They actually taking first, second, and third place in some competitions. They're getting investor financing. They're setting up patents, all types of stuff. We got big things going on. I want y'all to know about it. And this is some of the other targeted outcomes that we're going after. Again, please check out the slides and go through these one by one. All right, now remember we talked about reconfiguring one social network as one of the 4 strategies to help. Try to memorize this right here. Be a network entrepreneur, increase the number of weak ties, seek out and fill structural holes. Let's go through each one of these real quickly. So if your name is Jake and you grew up in my neighborhood with me, and you come up with a nice, great business idea, do you tell the world? Heck no. Why? Because you're afraid somebody's going to steal your idea. So Jake don't let nobody know. Jake says, you know what? I don't have enough money to start this business, but it's really important. So I'm going to get a job and I'm going to save my money. Now, if you're this guy right here, his name is Scott. This is not Jake, of course. But anyway, if you're Scott right here, when you come up with a business idea, Scott is a little bit different than Jake. What does Scott do? Scott finds the highest mountaintop that he can find. And he climbs that, he gets at the top, and he roars out to the whole world like, hey, everybody, I got this wonderful, great business idea. I'm looking for these types of people to help me start this business. And if you have these skill sets, come see me. Let's do this. And guess what happened? Scott's business becomes a major growing concern. Scott hires my buddy Jake. And Jake working there for 20 years, saving up his money so he can start his business by himself. All right, so we already talked about these things right here. But what we didn't talk about is if Jake keeps 25% of his $72,000 that he's making a year, guess what his income is? $18,000. And trust me, Jake is not starting a business to make $18,000 a year. So Jake has to ask himself, do I really want to be the HHIC, the head honcho in charge of a 100% business ownership thing? Or do I want to be 5% like Scott, even if only 5%? So Jake, 72. Scott, if Scott makes a Fortune 500 company right now, if you go all the way down to the lowest company on the Fortune 500 list in terms of revenue, the lowest company, that's how much revenues they're making a year. Imagine if Scott was only 5% owner of this company. Let's do a comparison of that cut. 5% of the company that's making $5 billion, their profit is $1.4 million. That's what it was in, most recently. And that's Scott's cut right there. So which one you want to be? All right, so also, in terms of being a solo entrepreneur, which one are investors most likely to fund out of these 2 right here? Ding, 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 you got it. Investors will always fund a great team with a mediocre business idea instead of a mediocre team with a great business idea. Investors always invest in people. It's the team, making sure you're a tight team. We need to talk a little bit more about that at another time. All right, so also don't be a solo entrepreneur. Instead, do what? Be a network entrepreneur. Also increase the number of weak ties in your social network. I want you to go through these over here. So weak ties is people that we hardly know. We meet at a professional conference, or we having a chat on a subway station, about some problem or innovation or anything like that. Strong ties, that's our boys and girls that we grew up with. That's our brothers, our sisters, and so forth. And so which one of these ties do you think is more likely to let you identify a new business idea? What's the answer? Ding, 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 ding. Boom. You got it. Weak ties. And so in your social network, you want to constantly increase the number of weak tie relationships that you have. Go through the slides and find out why. All right, so the last one, let's go back. The last one is seek out and fill structural holes. So I'm going to show you a social network. This is you, and this is a person named B, and that's a person named C. I'm going to draw lines for the people who know each other in that thing. So you know B. As a matter of fact, B is your boy. That's your girl. That's your road dog, your partner in crime. And so y'all are really, really tight. C is like a professional acquaintance. But remember, you're A. So this is your social network. So right now, these are the only people who know each other in your social network. So therefore, you have a huge structural hole. And research shows that if you close this structural hole by introducing them, it leads you to recognizing better opportunities. Now imagine there are two other persons. D is like a gatekeeper. He doesn't have a whole bunch of resources, but he got connects to people who do have a lot of resources. People like Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and so forth and so on. And so one day when you introduce C and B and they get to talking, they have a whole nother conversation other than the conversation that you and B normally have. And so after a while, C says, you know what? I know a cat who knows a cat, and we need to get things going. So check this out right here and ask yourself how many structural holes exist. You got like 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, what number did y'all come up with? 1, 2, 3, what? How many of y'all see more? All right, let's see. So we want to count how many structural holes. So now this is your social network, and then here's what happens to it. So then these people introduced, that one's introduced, that one's introduced, that one's introduced, bam. So there were 5 structural holes in your social network that you need to handle business and get closed. And by doing so, you move from that to that. And by doing that, you become a super successful entrepreneur. All right, so what are the 3 things? Be a network entrepreneur, increase the number of weak ties, fill out structural holes, and so forth. And the final one is financing. And so I'm going to talk to y'all more about that. We're going to spend a couple weeks in this semester working on this one right here because these are very important. This is one of the number 1 impediments to successful entrepreneurship in our communities. All right, now we have a nice opportunity. So in this class, you can come up with a business idea. This is what your semester project is. You can come up with a business idea on your own, something you're already working on. It just has to be for profit. But go through your week 2 patterns. Look at that. Talk to me during office hours. This is an amazing opportunities, and all of these are ready for you all to exploit and help make a really nice business. Now, y'all have a home assignment this week. And if you click on the week 2 file, you'll see details of it. But I need y'all to do some decent research. And I know that y'all will take this serious, but you have to do this. Read through the stuff. And you're going to find out a group of people who are suffering some major problem. There's also a thing called the customer gain. You could do that as well. But right now, it's a major problem that they are suffering. You're going to write what that problem is. You're not going to write what the business is. You're going to write what the problem the people are suffering today. We don't want to hear anything about the business in this home assignment. So don't say, hi, my name is Mike, and I've created a business that's going to help people who stutter. No, instead you want to say, there are actually blank percentage of the population of people who have speech impediments, and some of them stutter, and so forth and so on. These people, so you're only talking about the problem and not the business solution. And then read through these. Find out what a value proposition. Do a little bit of research. You got to read here. You can also talk to me during office hours. I'll break those things down. But a value proposition is something that you offer that's better. Write a brief description explaining why anybody in your niche group cares about that. So that's the home assignment. There are details on there. Plus, y'all will talk to me during office hours and we'll break it down. Let's see, got 45 seconds to go through these. If you're taking more than 1 semester with me, no problem. You can work on the same project in the same class. If you've already worked on something previously and you really care about that business, do it again. Take it to the next level in this class. You can recruit family members, faculty, anybody on your team, but you should recruit a team. You can't do a not-for-profit in this class. It has to be a for-profit. If you don't want an entrepreneur, you still have to be entrepreneurial, so you do have to demonstrate that you can learn this test. And this business does not have to be for real, but so forth. So thanks. Let's get cracking. And somebody please help me right here because y'all see my black and white presentation isn't working. Thank y'all, everybody. Bye.